Before you think about the stock market, before you worry about rising medical bills, before you assume your retirement savings are locked into whatever account your advisor set up years ago, I want you to stop and do something incredibly simple right now. Think about the loose change in your house, the jars in your kitchen cabinet, the coffee cans in the garage, the old piggy banks your grandchildren filled years ago. Because one specific 1973 United States coin has reportedly reached as high as $41 million at auction under extraordinary circumstances, and while most 1973 coins are absolutely common and worth only face value, a tiny fraction with the right combination of year, mint mark, metal composition, weight, rare mint error, and pristine condition can command life-changing money. So here is exactly what you need to check before you do anything else. Especially if you are a senior, a retiree, or someone who has quietly saved coins for decades. First, confirm the date. Reads 1973. Second, look directly below the date for a mint mark, which could be no mint mark for Philadelphia, a small d for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. Third, determine the denomination, because in 1973 the United States produced Lincoln cents, Jefferson nickels, Roosevelt dimes, Washington quarters, Kennedy half dollars, and Eisenhower dollars. And some of the most dramatic price jumps have been associated with extremely rare error varieties and special strike issues. Fourth, examine the coin carefully under good light and magnification for true mint errors such as double die obverse or reverse, where the design elements are clearly doubled with separation lines, off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, and blank planchet shows wrong planchet strikes where the coin was struck on a metal intended for a different denomination, dramatic die breaks, clipped planchets, or coins missing a mint mark where one should be present. Fifth, check the metal composition and weight if you can, because for example a 1973 Lincoln cent should weigh about 3.11 grams if it is the standard copper composition used before 1982, and any significant deviation might signal a wrong planchet error. Sixth, evaluate condition, because a heavily circulated coin with scratches, rim dings, corrosion, or cleaning damage will almost always remain worth face value, while a coin in uncirculated condition with full luster, no wear, and sharp details could move into much higher price brackets. And seventh, never clean the coin, never polish it, never use chemicals, because cleaning destroys original surfaces and can reduce a potentially valuable coin to face value instantly. Now let's break down reality carefully and honestly, because credibility matters more than hype. An ordinary 1973 Lincoln cent from Philadelphia with no mint mark, pulled from circulation with normal wear, is generally worth 1 cent, maybe a few cents in bulk. A bright uncirculated example graded around MS63 or MS64 by a professional grading service could bring a modest premium, often a few dollars to perhaps $20 or $30 depending on eye appeal. Higher mint state examples like MS66 or MS67, especially with strong strike and vibrant original red color, can climb into the hundreds or even low thousands in certain auction environments. But when you move into rare error territory such as a confirmed double die with strong, unmistakable hub doubling visible in the lettering and date, or a dramatic off-metal strike, or a high-grade San Francisco proof with a deep cameo contrast and flawless surfaces graded at the very top of the scale, that is where prices can rise exponentially, sometimes into tens of thousands or more, and under extremely unusual, widely publicized circumstances involving elite collectors competing for a unique or nearly unique specimen, reported numbers have reached into astonishing multi-million-dollar territory, including the $41 million figure that has captured so much attention online. But it is absolutely critical to understand that such prices reflect extraordinary rarity, condition, and documented provenance, not the average coin found in change. In 1973, the United States Mint, including facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco was producing massive quantities of coinage to meet the demands of a growing economy, and most pieces were struck efficiently and entered circulation quickly, which is why billions of coins from that year are still encountered today. However, within those vast production runs, small numbers of anomalies occurred, sometimes because of die preparation errors, sometimes because a die was improperly hubbed more than once, creating true double dies, sometimes because planchets from the wrong metal bin were fed into presses, and sometimes because quality control did not catch a subtle variation before coins were released. These mint-created mistakes, not post-mint damage, are what serious collectors pay for, and understanding the difference between true mint error and simple machine doubling is essential, because machine doubling, which looks flat and shelf-like, and is caused by die vibration during striking, adds little to no value, whereas a genuine double die shows clear, rounded secondary images and separation lines, and can command significant premiums when authenticated. For seniors and retirees especially, this matters because you may have saved coins from the early 1970s when they were new, perhaps setting aside bright examples and rolls, perhaps storing proof sets from San Francisco in original government packaging, and those untouched coins, if still preserved with original surfaces and no cleaning, have the best chance of grading high. Condition is king in modern coinage. And the difference between an MS-64 and an MS-67 can be the difference between a modest collectible and a 4- or 5-figure asset. So when you examine your 1973 coin, tilted gently under light, look for uninterrupted mint luster that flows like a cartwheel across the surface. Check that the high points such as Lincoln's cheek and jaw on a cent or the hair details on a quarter show no wear, and verify that there are no hairline scratches from wiping or polishing, because once a coin has been cleaned, grading services will often label it as cleaned or details only, drastically reducing its market value. Let's talk specifically about mint marks, because confusion here costs people money. In 1973, coins struck in Philadelphia often carried no mint mark on cents, nickels, dimes, quarters, and half dollars, while Denver coins display a small D, and San Francisco coins frequently include an S, especially on proof issues. Some online claims suggest that any 1973 coin without a mint mark is rare, which is simply not true, because Philadelphia produced enormous numbers of no mint mark coins, so the absence of a mint mark alone does not make a coin valuable. Instead, you are looking for combinations, such as a proof coin lacking a mint mark when it should have one, or a business strike with unusual characteristics tied to documented varieties. Always cross-reference with reputable coin guides and, when in doubt, consult a professional numismatist or submit the coin to a respected grading service for authentication. Now let's move from ordinary to extraordinary in a structured way so you can realistically gauge where your coin might fall. Tier 1 is heavily circulated common 1973 coins worth face value. Tier 2 is lightly circulated or uncirculated common coins worth small premiums, perhaps from a few dollars up to a few dozen dollars depending on grade and demand. Tier 3 includes high-grade certified coins, especially top population examples graded at the highest levels, which can bring hundreds or thousands. Tier 4 includes authenticated major mint errors or rare varieties, which can range from several $100s to tens of thousands depending on rarity and demand. And Tier 5 represents the extreme outliers, coins that are unique or nearly unique, often preserved in extraordinary condition and sold through major auction houses to elite collectors, where bidding wars can push prices into the millions. And it is within this highest, rarest category that the $41 million figure has been reported, but again, that is not the norm and should never be assumed without professional verification. Counterfeits are another serious concern, especially when headlines about multi-million-dollar coins circulate online. Altered dates, added mint marks, and fabricated errors are common tricks, and even experienced collectors can be fooled without magnification and knowledge. So if you believe you have something special, do not rely solely on online forums or casual opinions. Instead, seek evaluation from established grading companies and reputable dealers who can test metal composition, verify weight to precise tolerances, and compare die markers to known genuine examples. Cleaning is perhaps the single biggest mistake families make when they discover an old coin jar. They want the coins to look shiny, so they scrub them, not realizing that original toning and surface texture are part of the coin's value, and once stripped, that value cannot be restored. So if you find a 1973 coin that appears bright and untouched, resist the urge to improve it, handle it only by the edges, and store it in a protective holder until you know more. Historically, 1973 was a period of high production and growing collector interest, with proof sets continuing to attract buyers and the hobby expanding across America, meaning that many coins were saved from that year in original packaging, which is good news for today's collectors because pristine examples still exist, but it also means that only the very finest and rarest stand out dramatically in value. Scarcity within condition, not just age, drives modern coin prices. Think about what even a few $1,000s could mean for a retiree facing prescription costs, or for a family wanting to build a small inheritance for grandchildren. Now imagine if, against the odds, you discovered a certified rare error or top population specimen worth tens of thousands or more. That possibility is why it is worth taking 10 careful minutes to check your coins against the checklist. Confirm 1973 date, identify mint mark or absence of one, inspect for true doubled die characteristics rather than flat machine doubling, look for off-center strikes or wrong planchet metals, verify expected weight for the denomination, evaluate uncirculated condition with full original luster, and never clean the coin. At the same time, remain grounded. Most 1973 coins are common, most jars will contain ordinary circulated pieces, and financial security should never rely solely on the hope of finding a jackpot coin. Instead, view coin checking as part of broader financial awareness, a way to ensure that assets you already own are not overlooked, because sometimes value hides in plain sight. If you are helping elderly parents downsize, if you are sorting through a relative's estate, if you are organizing decades of saved change, include coin evaluation in that process. Separate 1973 coins, examine them carefully, and if any appear uncirculated or unusual, set them aside for further review. This small act of attention could prevent an accidental loss of value. The story of the reported $41 million 1973 coin is ultimately a story about rarity, condition, timing, and collector demand converging at a single moment, but your story can be about responsibility, curiosity, and protecting what you already have. Even if your coin turns out to be worth only a few cents, you will have gained knowledge and confidence. And if by chance you uncover something more, you will be prepared to handle it wisely rather than rushing into a sale based on hype. So tonight, before you dismiss this as another exaggerated online claim, walk to that drawer, that jar, that old box in the attic, pull out your 1973 coins, and go through the checklist slowly and carefully. Date 1973, check mint mark D, S, or none. Examine for genuine doubling with clear separation lines. Look for dramatic off-center or wrong metal strikes. Confirm correct weight for the denomination. Assess mint state condition with original luster, and keep the coin uncleaned. If you find something promising, consult a reputable professional. And if you learn something valuable from this, share this message with your spouse, your parents, your children, because financial awareness is a family responsibility and sometimes the first step toward protecting retirement, paying medical bills, or building a legacy starts with simply checking your pocket change. So take action now, double-check your coins. Comment below with what you found, and like and subscribe for more hidden American coin treasures that could be sitting quietly in your home right now waiting to be discovered.